Hey everybody, Ralph Carrasco. I am here in what is usually sunny San Diego, but right now it is probably after sunset because I just heard the ships in the background doing their final lowering of the flags and whatnot. And I just finished up an amazing mastermind group. It is 2 days of a private workshop with some guys that are really hitting some great marks in the world and that are really helping people out to move the needle in all aspects of their lives. So today I'm here to tell you a little bit about myself, because this is my very first intro video that I'm releasing, and as a result I want you to kind of understand a little bit about who I am so you can trust what I'm about to say and what I'm about to tell you in the following videos. I thought it was very appropriate for me to start this first video here at the convention center. It's a beautiful convention center. They have a lot of great chairs and whatnot that allow people to just sit in and enjoy. And this convention center, I mean, holds like Comic-Con, and it holds so many other events. And it's always a pleasure for me to be down here in sunny San Diego. Well, not in July, obviously, because you can see the overcast. But there's that Coronado Bridge that heads over. Marina in the background. My super big love. I love ships. I love boats. I served in the Navy for 10 years. I went in '99, and I got out in 2010. While I was in, my first job was, well, no, back that up. My first command was a small minesweeper ship, 224 feet of Douglas fir, stationed out of Ingleside, Texas, and USS Champion, MCM4. That was my home for a few years. Prior to that, I was over in Michigan. Super cold, super lame, but I was learning electronics, and that's what got me started as an electronics technician for the military and for the Navy. It allowed me to just open up so many doors. And after a couple years of working very hard in USS Champion and getting meritoriously advanced to the next pay grade from E4 to E5 in a very short amount of time, as a hustler and as a worker, you know, I was in the top 5% of my peers, because I pushed and I grind and I always wanted to learn more, and I had a lot of great mentors. That is the one thing that I have always stuck with, is that mentors are the key to life. They really are. I went in at 23, so I wasn't one of the lame young kids that were going through problems and that were having a lot of issues at the time. You know, you go into the military at 18, you think that you can do whatever you want, you think you're gonna do all these amazing things, and you're gonna influence the world, you're gonna change this, you're gonna change that, and really what it comes down to is when the ship is in port and you're not on duty, you are literally working like a regular job, or so they say, because you know, you end up getting told to do everything else, like from how to walk, how to talk, when to eat, on the tray if you're enlisted, just like prison. You know, you get your prison tray. It was great because it gave me the discipline that I needed at the time to be able to succeed. And then from that point in 2003, I was fortunate enough to be attached to Compact Fleet, Honolulu, Hawaii. And then from that point, I was Admiral Staff. I worked in a building with no windows, and 250 Makalapa Drive. Shout out to my peeps if they're ever watching this. And again, I was fortunate enough to operate in the top 5%, which allowed me to enjoy my shore duty there. Pager duty, we called it. While we were taking care of all of the other ships. And then from that point, successfully, again, top 5%, I went up the hill to Camp Smith. And then at Camp Smith, I was fortunate enough to be able to be a part of Tomahawk, apps pack duty over there, launching $1 million rockets, making sure that they got to where they needed to go. Again, amazing people who are doing amazing things out there. And I got to do so many wonderful things. I was in Japan for about 18 months, attached to this 3-star command over there because they wanted me to do some upgrade and installation projects. So I was working directly with the contractors there to ensure that those guys here out of San Diego were able to perform the functions and duties that they needed to, because I was responsible to make sure that all of the computers and all of the technical stuff was taken care of to the best ability possible. And I say that because at the core of it, I am a technical man. That's what I do. You give me a roadmap, you give me a manual, we'll make that shit work. I think the dumbest thing in the world is when you have a blinking VCR light back in the day and all it took was somebody opening up the book enough to read how to get that accomplished. I don't know what it is. I've been wired. My mom, I mean, I would take apart our cordless cell phone and it would or would not possibly be put back together, but whatever, over the years I learned how to make that happen. And one of the best fortunate opportunities that I had was that oh, sun's going down fast, when I was attached to the 3-star command in Japan, it afforded me the opportunity to climb Mount Fuji 2 years in a row on my birthday. This is where things get kind of weird, because you think, wow, this guy, he's operating in the top 5% of the military, and I'm operating in the top 5% of the top 5% as the Admiral staff. So from that point, second year on my birthday, another thing, I recommend that you do something special for yourself on your birthday, no matter fucking what. You don't want to invite people, don't invite people, but you need to make your life fucking amazing for you. All right, that was my rant. Anyways, so my whole point is that my daughter and I have very close birthdays. She was about 4 years old, 5 years old at the time, and I had just got down from climbing Mount Fuji, and I came down and I was like, I gave her a call and I was like, hey baby, what's going on? How you doing? And, you know, I'm a sailor. My ex-wife and I, we didn't work. So as a result, you know, got a divorce. She moved back. That's how come I was able to do so much travel and everything else. It is what it is. But she had told me that. And then as a result, you know, it struck a chord with me. It struck a chord with me in the fact that, like, it messed with me when I talked to her, because her comment was literally, Daddy, I don't like it when you miss birthdays. And that fucked me up. Like, it destroyed. Like, I had my officer package done because I had my degree all knocked out. I had recommendations. I was within the height, weight, like all of that stupid Navy bullshit that you got to do in order to be successful, following their rules. And at the time and during the whole process, I just had to, I made a choice. I literally made a choice that said, you know what? I am not going to be an officer, travel all over Europe and be grimy, and then what? I get home after another 10 years and she doesn't even know who I am. And then from that point, I'm stuck trying to be some kind of other dad. Doesn't work. So as a result, 2010, I get out of the military after about 10 years and 8 months. And during the process of trying to figure out how to be a civilian, how to restructure my life, how to, like, I mean, a decade in the military is long and it's lengthy, and you get programmed. U.S. military is the best brainwashing, programming, like, institution in the world. And I'm not knocking them, because you know what? They do some great things. But what I am saying is that I walked away because I realized that my daughter was the most important thing, that family is the most important thing. Because my cake was, so let's say I get out of the military after 20 years, right? Everyone's like, you didn't get a pension? No, you don't get, oh, and that's the other thing. You do not get a pension unless you do a full 20 years, or you get hurt, or you get broken, or some other bullshit, and then you got to take the VA You got to take the VA medicine, you got to take all their injections, and nope, I was done with all that. So, February of 2010, I didn't plan as well as I should have, and I just figured, like, I've been so successful in the military that I just figured, you know what? Fuck it, I'm gonna make this happen. And when I got out in the civilian world, it was very different. It was very ominous. And where I moved to was Modesto, California, because that's where my ex-wife's family was, and that's where my family was, and that's where I entered the military. And as a result, Modesto, California, and the whole California Central Valley was labeled by Forbes magazine as the most economically repressed area in the United States. Okay, I will say that again. Modesto, California, and the California Central Valley was the most economically repressed area in the country. Like, it was doing worse than the South, right? And I don't hate on you Southern boys, because I know, and women, because I know how you get down, I know how you barbecue, and I know how you party. And I love you, big fam. But from an economic business standpoint, that's where we were. And then in all of my brilliance, I was like, oh, whatever. You know, I get out, I start launching resumes to various tech companies and to various large-scale companies. We have like Foster Farms out there, and then we also have Gallo out there. And it wasn't clicking. It wasn't right. None of it felt right. And I was just sitting around one day, and I was actually looking, I was actually at a yogurt spot, which didn't last, with my daughters. I got 2 of them. And as a result, and it was my youngest one that caused me to like change my life completely. And as a result, we were sitting there, and I was like, well, maybe I'll just open my own business, because like that's what I wanted to do, and that's what I studied for initially, as I thought, when I was getting my degree. Didn't happen. I ended up getting my degree in human resource development because I understood that there was a huge disconnect between the high-tech guys and the upper echelon management. And as a result of being able to have the experience that I did, as well as understand the technical side and then understand people, I was able to bridge that link between high-tech, nerdy type people and then like the officers who are super low-tech, and a lot of them are just fucking morons. But the only reason they're in a position of power is because they got their degree in underwater basket weaving, and as a result they can just go and be an officer and like tell people what to do with like 15 years, and then all of a sudden they show up with their little butter bar and they're like, oh, you gotta do what I say and you gotta call me sir. Well, fuck you, sir. Anyways, getting off that rant. So the big thing was, and with the I think TAPS class or whatever else they try and tell you, they're like, oh, just open a business. And like that was in my soul. That's what I wanted to do. That's what I've always wanted to do. So when I got out, I was just looking and I was looking, and I didn't really know where I was at. And oddly enough, I was sitting in my ex-wife's house, my daughter's mother's home, and I was like just sitting there, and I was like, and they got a new puppy and smelled like piss. And I was like, So I just typed in carpet cleaning, right? Like in Google as far as a franchise, and a franchise came up, and it was new and innovative, right? Because that's what I want. I'm high tech, so I want new and innovative. And then from that point, it solved the water problem, because California was in a super drought-ridden issue. So that's 2 huge things. And as a result, they were also military friendly, and they were a young, up-and-coming franchise. So I, like everything that I've done in my life, fucking 2 feet forward, jumped all the way in, and I make it happen, right? That's the best way to fucking learn how to swim. Jump the fuck in the water. Just do it. I don't give a fuck what you say. I don't care about your scared, your frustration. Like, I really want you to understand that I spent 10 years in the U.S. Navy from 99 to 2010, right? And this is the time when in the Navy, we were first going through like COTS, commercial off the shelf. So the military was actually starting to use brand new high-tech computer type components that were from like Cisco and Oracle and all of those other things. And so, make this stronger and longer a little bit. So as a result, like that was my, like I used to read, and it was weird. Like I was that kid who, when the Sunday paper came out, I would look at computers and be so fascinated and like read the specs and shit. Like I'm kind of weird. That's the way my mind works. It processes data that way. That's just, it is what it is. So I researched this company a little bit, and I asked the appropriate questions that I think I do, but I ended up just jumping in. That's it. I just jumped in. I said, okay, cool. It worked out. They were willing to work with me. They were veteran friendly. Like everything was great. And I get my franchise, and we open in July of 2010. Okay. All right. So February of 2010, 26th of February, I get out of the military. I'm officially separated. Okay. July 1st, I'm opening up my franchise. Okay. And it's a carpet cleaning franchise on top of that. And I had no clue, but I was just like, I'll fucking do it. I can make anything good. I'll make it happen. Okay. And we go, we sign, we make it happen. And fast forward to 2017. Actually, fast forward to a couple of years in, right? First year in, I'm like, oh, okay, this is easy. And then I realized the woes of being a business owner, right? The woes of payroll, the woes of, oh shit, I got payments due and there's no revenue, okay? Because that's just, their franchise model wasn't set up to be effective for my area, right? And so I had to make it happen. I still had bills, right? I still had bills coming in. I still had to pay for my daughters. I still had to like feed myself. I still had to figure out how to be a civilian. And if anybody tells you, right, like that you have to figure out how to be a civilian, what does that mean? Like, talk to a veteran or talk to a military guy, and you civilians are fucking batshit crazy. That's all I gotta say. And any veteran or any military guy will tell you, yes, you civilians are batshit crazy and you don't know what's going on. And that's not a negative thing. It is what it is. Like, we're so wired in such a different way that when we see civilians do what they do with no rhyme or reason, in our brains, we're just like, what? Why? Because there's already a regulation or a rule or some other bullshit from that guy with the butter bar or this little silver bar, and he thinks he's all fucking cool, and he's gonna tell you what to do and why you have to be in bed at a certain time and blah, 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 and all that bullshit, right? So when you get out and there's no rules and there's no roadmap and then there's no plan, that's kind of frustrating. And then you got to figure it all out. So I'm in a new city. I didn't grow up there. I have some friends and I have some family. And as a result, like, I had to figure it out, right? I went rock fucking bottom, right? And I would call the franchise and I'd be like, hey, what the fuck do I do? Like, how do I do this? Like, and their big thing is like Valpak at the time, right? And we didn't have Valpak in my area. So we were like just stuck, right? It's just stuck. And so they said, hey, there's this guy over in the Bay Area, right? Because I'm in Modesto, and they said over in the Bay Area, he's using this thing called Yelp. And I guess Yelp's pretty big for him, and he's booked out for 2 weeks. And I was like, what? 2 weeks booked out. Bob DeForest, you the fucking man. You are the godfather, the kingpin. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's all I got to say, because I'll get up to that. So, Bob DeForest, right? He's over in the Bay Area, Fremont, whatever area. He's booked out for 2 weeks with no marketing budget, okay? And that was key for me because I operated this on a shoestring budget. I dug, and 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 I figured it out. And as a result, in 2015, okay, 5 years later, we hit it. We hit it. I figured it out. I figured out Yelp. I figured out Google. I figured out Facebook. And as a result, in 2015, we had 3 times the amount of reviews. Actually, it was double. Okay, so I had twice the amount of reviews as the next leading carpet cleaner in the Modesto area. And you can still go and look this up. Again, as a result, in 2015, I'll say it again, we had twice as many reviews as our competition. So, as a result of having twice of the amount of reviews as our competition, it afforded us the opportunity to lower our marketing budget, okay? And so I was scratching my head and I was like, what's going on here? I figured it out. I'm happy, I'm successful, everything's flowing, and yes, everyone will say, well, it takes that long to get started, and blah, 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 blah. Fuck you, okay? Yes, it takes that long to get it started. Yes, it takes that long to get it flowing, but in my industry of carpet cleaning and cleaning as a whole, period, it was rough. It's fucking rough because I'm this high-tech computer guy and I'm like, oh yeah, I can fucking teach anybody how to do this. And it wasn't teaching them the process, it was getting folks to call. That's it. Like, the process was simplistic, but the whole thing is to get customers and clients to call your business. And so as a result, in 2015 of having twice the amount of reviews, right? 2 times. So we had 60 reviews, and the closest next company, large scale company, full companies have been in business for like 30 years in that area. As a result, like, we were just getting calls and people were like, oh, we found you on the internet. Oh, we found you on the internet. Oh, we found you on the internet. And so it really started getting me to think about, okay, so what is it that we were doing on the internet to get people to call? And it was those reviews. I heard it. It like went off as a light bulb, and I just dug and I dug and I dug and I dug, and I was doing a lot of it. So I'd be like, hey, so how'd you hear about us? Because we don't do a lot of advertising. And they'd be like, oh, we found you online. Awesome, cool. So I started doing more and more and more in-depth analysis and more in-depth information seeking. And I was doing this throughout the whole time. It wasn't just in 2015. It was like, what moves the needle for people to make them want to purchase? Okay, that should always be your question in whatever business you have. So as a result, we're grinding, we're going, we're pushing, and then in 2016, okay, I kill the marketing budget altogether, except for a little bit of here and there, and we just ride the reviews, and they just keep going up and going up and going up, and as a result, we ended up now having 3 times the amount of reviews as the competition in our area, Modesto, California. Type in carpet cleaning on Yelp. You'll find the #1. It's got 90+ reviews, and you'll read my name in the reviews and everything else. And that's just from delivering high quality customer service that I learned in the military from dealing with all of those junior officers and entitled ass officers and all those people. They were like, oh, I want this now. And you have to learn how to like suck it up and then kind of go forward, which is a very difficult thing for myself, and then for so many other business owners I've come to realize. Because when I got out of the military, my friends weren't like 9 to 5 people. I just didn't understand. Like I still don't understand like 9 to 5. Like it doesn't work for me. It doesn't resonate in my system. It doesn't resonate in my soul. And as a result of that, that whole system and that whole process, I realized what it took. I realized what it took to create a high status business. And then as a result of having a high status business and being #1, people call. People call because people go off of reviews, because nobody wants a 2-star experience when there's a 5-star option. That's just the way that it is. So as a result of having 3 times the amount of reviews and my background and everything else, I decided to shut all that down. It was for sale, it didn't sell, and I just didn't want to renew my contract with the franchise. You know, our values are different, we're not in alignment, and it was just time for me to go and to jump into this, okay? And this next stage in my life, I call it Carrasco Consulting, and my flagship system that I have right now is called Revenue from Reviews. And the title explains exactly what it is, right? You generate revenue from review sites. Look at hotels.com, look at TripAdvisor, look at Yelp, look at Google. I mean, that's what people do. That's how people search. The fucking phone book is dead, okay? This right here, this little like 3-inch screen, okay? This 3-inch screen is how 80% of your clients find you. It's been good. It's been good. It's been growing. I'm not gonna watch this video again, and I'm just gonna post it up. But no, that's a lie. I probably am gonna watch it like 15 fucking times and make sure and critique myself and everything else. But this is my first jump off, and this is my first big, this is who I am, and this is what I'm doing. It may be long-winded and everything else, and there's probably gonna be a lot of feedback and a lot of criticism. But my mentor and my coach, my confidant, and someone who just inspires me, he let us know earlier today that if you go and look at Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V, if you go and look at his very first wine video, it was fucking horrible. It's wretched. It's like, it is what it is, but we all start somewhere, and this right now is my starting point, okay? So, Ralph Carrasco, veteran, 10 years. Scratch that. Ralph Carrasco, okay? Father, 20 years. Veteran, 7 years. Served for 10 years. Business owner, okay? 7 years, currently, all right? Closer to 20, whatever else. I get it. I get where you're at. I get how frustrated you are. I've been through so many fucking hoops. I've wanted to curl up in a ball and just disappear. There's those days where you're just like, what the fuck? I really have no sympathy for anybody who says that, oh, they're in business and this and that and everything else. If you do not know the feeling of it being Tuesday, okay, payroll's due on Friday, and you have no fucking idea how you're going to succeed and how you're going to get these people paid to make sure that their lives are okay and that their lives are intact, I really have no sympathy for you, and this is not my channel. This is not the channel for you. Like, do not, right? Do fucking not continue. You can leave now, because I am not the guy for you, okay? I am the guy, though, that does want to help you, all right? I'm the guy that wants to help you succeed, help you grow, and I'm the guy that wants to help you just, like, get fucking everything that you want out of life, all right? 42 years old, and I've got a lot of fucking experience behind me, and I've talked to thousands of people. I've been to countries all over the world. I've swam in the Great Barrier Reef. I've hiked Mount Fuji. I've been up to the DMZ in Korea. You know, custom tailored suits in Vietnam, custom suits in Hong Kong. I lived in Hawaii for 6 years, and I stayed at the Burj Al Arab. I've been to the Gulf. I was meritoriously promoted twice in my naval career. Usually that's like unheard of, but I did it twice. I've hustled, I've grinded, I've made it happen, and I'm here. So anybody that is concerned about any of that, or anybody that you know, you're finally going, yes, somebody that can help me with like a raw sense of business, with a raw sense of wanting to succeed, I'm really looking forward to helping you out, and I'm really looking forward to providing value for you. I appreciate this half hour that you've given me, and you know, just going down the line and going further into the future, I'm going to be providing some great videos with some great value. My strength and my niche is local business, review sites, Google, Yelp. I fucking love Yelp. There's 130 million people a month on Yelp. I promise you, unique visitors. So anybody that says, oh, Yelp doesn't work, screenshot. Anyway, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. Every niche, every industry, because you may think that I don't understand your business. but I understand people. I got my degree in human resource development. I've been in the homes of thousands of people. 90% of my clients were mommies and women. I understand buying habits, and I understand what people want, okay? And what people really ultimately, genuinely want, they don't want fucking problems. They want to enjoy their life, they want to be happy, and they don't want to have to deal with your shit at the end of the day, okay? They just want problems solved. So, again, I look forward to providing more value to you in the future. I look forward to helping you launch your business into like the next level. I look forward to providing personal insight. I look forward to mentoring you, coaching you, and assisting you along the way, and just making it happen, and really, honestly, moving the needle. So, I hope you have a wonderful night, evening, day, week, month, and thank you again for taking time to listen to this 31 minutes. All right, talk to you soon. Ralph out. Ah!